turn that music down. That was Tommy Emmanuel, but I'm a forester here. It's Saturday morning, about 7 o'clock, and I'm headed up to Western North Carolina again. This is my trip that I make every other week to catch up on some mowing at my mother's place. It's about all I can do, and it's really cutting into my YouTube time. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not making nearly the YouTube videos that I used to make. I try to make one a week, and I think I've been making maybe one every other week. But life gets in the way sometimes, and so I'm doing what I have to do. Now, I have absolutely no notes for this video, which is uncommon because usually I don't have to script every single video, but I do have a good set of notes to refer to. Otherwise, I ramble a lot, and I don't particularly appreciate videos that ramble, and so I try not to make those kind of videos myself. So I'll try to stick to the topic. And what is the topic? Well, weight loss, and in particular my Fitbit, using Fitbit. I'll get to that, but I thought I would get started by showing you what I'm carrying. Some of you are more concerned about that and enjoy that more, not that you're concerned. But let me see if I can do this. This is what I'm carrying today. It's my Glock 26. And I'm carrying it in a DeSantis slim-tuk holster. Really enjoy that combo. It's real comfortable and easy to carry, easy to take on and off. Let me set the cruise control here so I don't have to think about one other thing. The knife that I'm carrying, I'm sort of going old school. I'm going with the Northwoods. That's the whatever it is, knife sheath, and I'm running out of hands here, but this is the knife that I'm carrying, and it's the Madison Barlow. I don't carry this knife all that much, but I do enjoy carrying it. And I guess going back to Western North Carolina, where my roots are, I felt like carrying a more traditional knife. I am carrying a flashlight, and this is a Phoenix E15. Now, probably 2 or 3 months ago, I bought a couple of small flashlights that I wanted to review. If you follow my channel, you know I lost my favorite small flashlight, my Prion. It was a blue Prion. I carried it everywhere, and I really enjoyed that light, but I lost it, and that was one of the problems. It would fall out of my pocket. And so I bought a couple of small flashlights that I wanted to test, and mainly I use a small flashlight when I'm walking, and it's been light so late in the evenings during the summer that I just haven't had the chance to use the flashlights. And so anyway, I haven't had that much experience with them. I carry them, but just don't find the opportunity to use them. So I just have put off a flashlight review until I get more experience. I'm still in South Carolina. I'm between Columbia and Spartanburg. This trip takes me, it should take me 3 hours. I'm gonna pass this guy. Should take me 3 hours, but usually, I have to stop fairly often. I'll stop once or twice on the way, so it ends up taking me around 3.5 hours. And why I make this trip every other weekend to cut grass is a mystery. I don't know why I do it. I'm trying to help my mother out, but there are other alternatives that would make more sense. So let me transition into weight loss and talk about that just for a second. And I don't mind sharing actual weights and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty transparent when it comes to stuff like that. But I know exactly when I hit my peak on my weight. It was December of 2013. and I was on a couple of medications, having side effects, and I decided to take control of my health as much as I could, get off some of the medications. And so what I did, I just went cold turkey on one in particular for cholesterol, and I started dieting. It was December 2013, and I bought a Fitbit. Somebody, a friend of mine, told me about Fitbit and really sold me on them because they had lost a lot of weight. It's not complicated. They just limited their calorie intake and walked, and so I figured that would suit me just fine. So that's what I did, and within, I'll say, 6 to 9 months, I had got down to my target weight, which at my peak I was 242, and I got down. My goal was to get under 200, and my target goal was somewhere like 195 to 197. You know, in high school, I think I was like 185, and I guess I'd like to get down to that eventually, but somewhere along 195, I start feeling like I'm about right, and I usually stop about there. But the problem is that when I get down to 195 or so, I start slacking off. I still walk, but I start eating more, and my mindset changes, and so I walk so I can eat whatever I want, and that seems to be my goal. I love to eat. I love ice cream. I love, just fast food, and so I start walking just so I can eat what I want to eat. And then the weight starts coming back on. And within a month or two, I can easily add 10 pounds back on. And so basically, I got down to my target weight within 6 to 9 months. And then once a year or so, I would have to really go back on the diet. Now, I used the Fitbit that whole time. And, I've walked and walked and walked. I wished I meant to look up for this video how far I've walked. It's really been amazing to track it on Fitbit and see how far you can walk if you put your mind to it. But I've been fluctuating within a 10-pound range, probably more like a 5 to 7 pound range for the past, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 4.5 years. And I think it's a success story because basically if you look at the graph of my weight, I've been centering around 200 to 202, somewhere in there, plus or minus 5 pounds for about 4.5 years or 4 years. So I'm overall very happy with that. And right now I'm trying to focus on diet and walking a little bit more because I tend to gain weight in the summer because it's so humid, it's so hot. I don't get out and walk as much, and so that's when I tend to gain a little weight. In the fall and spring, and even in the winter, I can keep it off. So let me transition to Fitbit, which is really what got me thinking about making this video. I love Fitbit. I mean, I've used Fitbit religiously up until about 2 months ago. And I decided to stop using Fitbit. I went cold turkey with it, and when you first stop using Fitbit, you feel like, it's sort of a frustrating feeling because you're not counting your steps. Now, I do have other ways to count my steps, and I meant to show you, I am wearing my Fossil smartwatch. That's another EDC item today. Let me see if I can show that to you. Hang on. Now, I couldn't see that myself, so I guess that showed up. But it does count steps. It's not really big on health, monitoring, but it does count steps, so I can get an idea of how many steps I'm stepping per day. But I bought my first Fitbit 1, I think in December of 2013. And since then, and they're not inexpensive. Since then, I think I've bought 4 or 5 Fitbit Ones for different people. And you know, everybody in my family, some extended family, and I think that I've influenced a good number of people to start walking and use Fitbit. We branched out from Fitbit Ones, which actually is my favorite. I prefer the Fitbit One to any of the other. I think it's the most accurate and the most dependable. But we branched out. I think I've bought 2 Altas, and I bought a Charge 2 for myself. So, and then I bought 2 scales, the area, to monitor our weight through the Fitbit app and Fitbit program online. So I have given Fitbit a good amount of money. And from all that investment, what I've noticed is Fitbit has a quality problem. Now, maybe not quality control, it's more in the design of Fitbit. The Fitbit Ones, you have to send in every once in a while the little case that holds it. The Charge 2 and Alta are really bad. The bands break down. Now, I sweat a lot, and that may be part of it, but I know when I made my review video of the Charge 2, the band was okay, and someone commented that we'll just give it time, it'll break down, because they had noticed it too. But it doesn't stop it from functioning, but it just looks bad. And these are not inexpensive, as I've said already, products. The Fitbit One, I think, generally cost around $100, and the Charge and Alta cost more than that. And so I expect a product like that to hold up better. And there are alternatives. And I think Fitbit's business model is to charge a premium for their product and then use the excess profit for replacing the items if the person sends them back in and wants it to get replaced. And it's generally not the electronic part of the Fitbit itself, it's the band and the case that they're in. So I've sent in the cases for my Fitbit One probably 2 or 3 times, maybe more than that. They always come right back from Fitbit. They replace them, no problem. I have sent in the Alta bands, the Charge 2 band, and right now I need to send in, or back in June, I needed to send in every single Fitbit product that I had, and I just thought, I'm tired of it. So I decided to just stop wearing Fitbit and monitor my steps with my Fossil watch or some other method, my cell phone. And so that's what I've been doing all summer. I've broken the Fitbit habit. And so, you know, I do miss it a little bit, mainly because I've got such a history in monitoring my steps and eating patterns with Fitbit through the Fitbit app. And so there's a discontinuity in the data there. And for a data guy, that bothers me. I enjoyed going online. I did run into the person who actually put me on to Fitbit back in 2013. This past week I was at a meeting in Durham and spoke to them a good bit. They're still using Fitbit strong, and they actually are using it more than ever because they're big time into the community features. It's almost like a social network of Fitbit users, like Facebook or LinkedIn or any other social network. I did get into the community features a little bit, and that would be a motivation that would keep you using Fitbit. But, and I'll admit something, I don't know if you can tell this about me or not, but I'm very competitive. So I've got a nephew that's in the military. I think he's in his 20s. He's in the military, and they go on long hikes and whatnot. Well, I would get a challenge to compete for a daily step count, or I think he's issued a challenge for a work week challenge. Well, if I accept a challenge, I take it seriously. I'm going to pull out all the stops. I like to win, and I'm very competitive. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but I think I have won every challenge that's been issued to me, because if I have to, I'll walk all night to win. And so, you know, sometimes that creates awkward situations, and the last Fitbit challenge, I think, was one of the things that prompted me to quit using Fitbit also. It was several months ago. He was going on a hike with whatever they call it, with the military, with loaded packs, and nobody knew that he issued the challenge to, I don't think. And so I got up early because I had to work all day and sitting at a desk and going to meetings. So I knew I would have to get started early to even stand a chance. And so I was out early in the morning before daylight walking. Well, he was walking too. And when I quit, I was ahead, but I watched him walk all morning long, and finally he admitted that they were on a hike, and I think it was raining, and you know, he had a loaded pack, and so it was a pretty difficult hike. But when I got home, I decided to go walking again and see if I could catch him. He was by far ahead of me by that time of day. And you know, as I walked all evening long, I figured he was back home with his feet up and drinking a beer, and I probably was right. But he sent me a message and said, "What are you doing, man?" He said, "I'm beat. I can't walk." And you know, from my standpoint, I thought, well, good. You know, and I kept walking, but I don't know, he sent me a message or two, and I started feeling sorry for him. And so I turned around and went back to the house. But anyway, you know, I'm overly competitive when it comes to the challenges and the social part of it. And so that just doesn't work out. The person I spoke to this week said, well, they don't worry. It's just a fun thing, but somebody's got to win. Anyway, I quit using Fitbit. Whether I ever go back to it or not, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I can track my steps with my Fossil watch. I have no idea how long this video has gone, and you know, I think it's too long. I may cut parts of this out, but I'm going to sign off for now and get busy, finish this drive, and then cut grass the rest of the day. And on the way, I'm going to be listening to Tommy Emmanuel. Y'all take care.